Hello, welcome once again to another class. And in today's Sage 50 class, we'll be looking at an interesting topic, which is written the Sage 50 environment. My name is Williams Miracle. I will be your lead instructor from Miramar Consulting. Alright, so looking at this very topic, the Sage 50 environment, it reminds me back then in the university when we were taught about an environment, most especially the aspect of business environment, because I was not a science student right from secondary school. But whenever it comes to this environment of a thing, what always comes to your mind is surrounding, the entire component, and so on. But when it comes to an accounting software, looking at Sage 50, if we want to understand this properly, we need to look into basically an accounting software environment, and Sage is one of those most popular accounting softwares. So right here I'll be taking you straight on this course, and I want to trust you that you're going to listen attentively so we can achieve something together. So I'm going to click on login so I can go straight ahead to my Sage application. So while it is loading, if you recall, I said for me, time to time, participants ask, what is an accounting software environment? Is there anything like that? Basically, it draws its meaning from business environment, because if we are talking about business environment, we can say that business environment refers to those set of conditions that affect the functioning of the business. So if we want to put it to an accounting software like Sage 50, we will then say that Sage 50 environment refers to those set of conditions, those set of options, those set of models that affect the functioning of the Sage 50 accounting software. And right here, this is the Sage 50 environment, and you can see from my home module to my quick view to my customer module to my supplier module, item module, banking module, account module, accountant area module, report module, company module, administration module. These are all what affect the functioning of Sage 50 software. And here we're not looking at anything like internal or external factors. These models are what affects it, and understanding the nature of Sage 50 environment and their changes is a vital part of what we know as accounting software system analysis. If you must be able to be an accounting software system analyst, then you must be able to understand the nature of the each application environment. Okay, so that you can be able to come up with designing, you could come up with what we call charting, to come up with the implementation of the program. And that's to make sure that whichever company that is using the application is able to achieve their aim of using it. And we at Miramar Consulting, we are majorly concerned about ensuring that all our stakeholders, all our customers achieve their project outcomes. And that's major reason why what we do is simple. We help businesses, we help individuals develop and execute winning strategies, and one of the way we ensure that they are able to do that is through our accounting software system analysis. When we are deploying software for them, we are doing it, letting them know that it is also a winning strategy on how they'll be able to win. And if you go back to what I said that understanding the nature of an accounting software environment like Sage 50 in this case, and their changes is a vital part of accounting software system analysis, charting, deployment, and so on, and also helps in designing good strategies, coming up with good strategies, and that's to make sure that the company has the right success strategy. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the Sage 50 environment, and be rest assured I'm going to explain each of these models from the dashboard to the administration. I'm going to take you on everything you need to know, so that when you go out there and someone asks you a question, you'll be able to stand and say, yes, I can summarize Sage 50 in 2 minutes, I can summarize Sage 50 in 5 minutes, and you'll be able to do that. And of course, by now I'm expecting that you all viewers or you all students or participants, are familiar with the concepts of Sage 50 and the different methods, of accounting that Sage 50 adopts, because accounting software adopts accounting methods, and it's very important that you look into that. So I now also expect that by now you already have an idea and an insight into computerized accounting environment like that of Sage 50, which I'm trusting that by the end of this class you'll be able to do that. But now, the first and foremost thing before I can continue, okay, is that you need to remember is that the fundamentals of accounting does not change. Okay, that big, because most times people are confused that, oh, is it that since we are using an accounting software, the normal way of accounting will not be maintained? No, the fundamentals of accounting, in as much as you're using an accounting software, does not change. Whether books of accounts are maintained manually or whether they are maintained in a computerized system, it does not change. The same principles of debit and credit that we apply for recording income or expenditure, or for recording purchase or sale of assets, or for creation or discharge of liability in a manual system, a manual accounting system, is equally applicable in a computerized environment. And that's more reason why we also have the journal entry section here, which takes into cognizance the aspect of bookkeeping, ensuring that it's very important. You can see process journal entries. All things are here to ensure that you also do your postings. All reports are here, from our different reports, our management reports. From our management reports, we give us that of the income statement, the POL, our balance sheet, trial balance, budget, transaction report, audit report, so many reports. If you also go over to where we have the report center over here, you will also be able to scroll down and you will see our financial statement. We definitely know that financial statements are very important since they are key to the business. So what I'm trying to say in the nutshell is that it's important for you to remember this, that the fundamentals of accounting does not change, whether books of accounts are maintained manually or whether they are maintained in a computerized system. They do not change. So it therefore means that since the recording medium is something else, compared to hard copy documents, because that's just the only difference here between an accounting software and the other manual, is just the recording medium. And by recording we are talking about bookkeeping. So since the recording medium is a kind of different compared to the hard copy documents, okay, and considerable brilliance have to be placed on the software for the input, processing and output of the data, and certain precautions, methodologies and techniques are to be adopted while maintaining accounts in a computerized accounting environment. So once you get this part, you're almost done. You've achieved 50% already. Okay, like I said that you should also take into cognizance that certain precautions, methodologies and techniques are to be adopted while maintaining accounts in a computerized accounting environment, and we are looking at Sage 50 accounting environment. So it's important that you take note of that. So Sage 50 accounting environment captures business transactions in the form of what we call accounting entries. You can write it down. I come again, I said that Sage 50 accounting environment captures business transactions in the form of accounting entries. Okay, this is what we are looking at, the Sage 50 environment. So please take note of that. Okay, so secondly, the accounting entries are then used to prepare these financial statement reports. So you can see that they are all connected. The environment is connected. Okay, just as business environment, you can be talking about internal and external factors. So even in an accounting software environment, using Sage 50 accounting as a case, they are all also connected. And that's why I am saying that Sage 50 accounting environment captures business transactions in the form of accounting entries. And I then move further to saying that the accounting entries are then used to prepare the financial statement reports, which you can see right here. Now, the financial statements are prepared based on accounting standards, and various financial reports are prepared from the data that is available in the financial statement. Just flow with me, I'm going somewhere. So you can see at this point that the above functions of what I've just said are performed here by using a computer, and the system which you're using in that computer which have been developed is what we call computerized accounting. And in this case, which system are we on now? We're on Sage Accounting. Okay, so you can see that there is no difference. All those standards are still maintained, and one of the key terms here is that an accounting software is being designed to is the financial statement, which has to do with the reporting. And that's why time to time I tell participants that the difference between Excel and an accounting software is reporting. And I move further to saying that an accounting software is designed based on two portions: data entry and reporting, because the end point of an accounting process is reporting. You can't do without reporting, so it's very important. So if I want to summarize what I've just said, I started and said that Sage 50 accounting environment or any other accounting software environment captures business transactions in the form of accounting entries. Now, these accounting entries that it captures business transactions in its form are then used to prepare what we call financial statements. And here, when you are trying to put down to record those accounting entries, we call it posting. You must know how to post those transactions to their necessary models to ensure that they are reflected in the necessary reports. And one way to do that is through the chart of accounts, which we call the backbone of an accounting software, of a computerized accounting software. So now, the financial statements are now prepared based on accounting standards, and various financial reports are prepared from the data that is available in that financial statement. So this is very important. So Sage 50 accounting environment, Sage 50 is a good application, and it has a lot of features which are good. For example, when it comes to speed, Sage 50 has a good speed, because work done by Sage 50 and work in Sage 50, you do your work at a very high speed. And I could say, let us imagine that there is a kind of a manpower required if 1,000 sales invoice are to be accounted daily, and also to keep track of such sales. 1,000 sales invoice, that's not a small invoice. One person cannot do that. Even 20 persons cannot do that, taking care of 1,000 sales invoice, and also to keep track of those sales, to keep track of the due dates of receipt of money against those sales, money received in advance for those sales. I can list as many things that will include that same sales. But with the help of a computerized accounting system like Sage 50, these things can be managed by a few people and in a shorter time. Is that not awesome? It's more like teamwork, esprit de corps, where they say teamwork makes the dream work. So an accounting software like Sage makes it easier for you to work as a team. So speed is one thing you should look into, even in other accounting applications like March, ERP, QuickBooks, and others. Accuracy is also important. Okay, these are things that builds up the environment. Accuracy is one of the features of Sage 50 environment. Unlike people, Sage 50 do not make errors once it has already been programmed to work correctly. So for example, let me say you, Blessing, maybe your name is Blessing, you're watching this, you are employed as an account officer or as a cashier or as an account officer. And let me say Blessing, the account officer, is preparing a trial balance of an entity, and this entity have at the moment 100 sales transactions daily, and the trial balance does not tally. It will take days for Blessing to find out this mistake. Though calculations done by Sage or an accounting software are accurate and can find out this thing in lesser time, after all the transactions are being imputed into the computer, the trial balance is ready within seconds. You can see right here on my financial statement report, I can say let me view trial balance within seconds. I don't need to wait till month end. I don't need to wait till when I want to do that. Within seconds, provided I've imputed those figures, I can do what? Run my trial balance report. It is ready within seconds, and after the completion of data feeding that have been entered into the application. So these are just some things I'm trying to bring your mind into, so you can understand how this is being structured, most especially the environment aspect that we are looking into, because this is understand when you're working. So this is very important. Also, another good feature that it's also part of the backbone of the Sage 50 environment, it's in terms of automatic completion of all records. So in Sage 50 accounting software, normally once the initial feeding of the transaction is done in the computer, the entries, set of accounts starts reading automatically. And if we are to look into manual accounting, there is no need to first write the subsidiary books, or to first write the ledgers, or to first write the general ledger and then prepare the financial statements. Okay, that's how the manual system follows. But here in an accounting application, no need of doing this, because once you've entered the transactions, the entries, set of accounts, it gets ready automatically. No need of saying you want to write this one, prepare general ledger, prepare this, and before you now prepare financial statements again. No, here you don't do all that. And that's more reason why it's good to go, unless you are not making use of it. Okay, now there are still some disadvantages, because I don't normally like to talk about the sweet part without talking about the other part that is like the ugly part. So majorly the disadvantages are not much. For example, computer virus. Okay, most of you who have installed Sage 50 before, you will know that virus is always is always an issue, because data in a computer are subject to various risks, including those by computer virus. So a computer virus is just a mischievous computer software written for fun. Okay, I can use that word fun. And it damages data inside a computer. So a computer virus may destroy the entire Sage data in a computer, and those kept in even a backup. So you must make sure that if you're using the desktop version, you must make sure that your system is clean from every virus. That's why it's important you install your antivirus. Then when you're installing it, you may turn it off. After installing it, you turn it on back, so that no virus will have access into your system. But if you're using the cloud version, you're free. It doesn't have any access to it, because it's already hosted on cloud. So that's just one of the ugly parts of it. Then another ugly part of it is for those who may be using the desktop version, regular backup is required, as data may be lost for various reasons. So it's important that you back up your data regularly on various storage devices. You have to back up your data on devices like the hard disks, devices like the floppy disks. It could be on your magnetic tape, and you just have to ensure that you take guard against possible loss of data. And it is difficult to retrieve data that is lost from the computer due to different kind of reasons, which could be inadvertence and any reason at all. But just know that you must back up your desktop version at all times. And also another ugly part is the issue of qualified staff, because qualified staff are required for operations, and that's the reason why you notice for jobs entries, they make it part of the requirement that you must have knowledge of an ARP, you must have knowledge of is of Sage, you must have knowledge of this application, because only a technically qualified person can operate a computer. I'm not even talking about a software, a computer. To operate a computer, a technically qualified person is the only person that can operate a computer. Now add software to it. So the accounting staff has to be initially trained in a computer operations by a computer professional, and that's why I'm here, or by a computer professional institute. That's why Miramor Consulting is here, to ensure that we take you on this journey. And so far our training have been very effective for 3 years now. We provide a structured and supervised learning experience to all our participants, in line with our aim, in line with our vision, in line with our goal, which is to give you more value, to give you more of what you want. So enrolling in such an effective training increases staff cost. Okay, so it helps you because it increases staff cost initially, when there is a change from manual to computerized accounting. And of course I know definitely there will be a little cost incurred on that, but compare the cost to what it will save you from. So you then see reasons why it's very good for you to ensure that everything works perfectly. So this is very important. And for professionals, there's also an ugly part, which is requirement of special program, because special programs are required to enable the computer to carry out accounting operations that can be written only by programmers. So this efficient computerized accounting system and its programs are sometimes costly, so that you're a professional, you also spend to get these applications, because I've come across some professionals who will say they don't want to release 1 naira, but it's not like that. So ladies and gentlemen, moving forward, this information I've just dished out to you is very important, because like one of my lecturer back in the university, Dr. Solomon, he will say those are ingredients. That ingredients are very important, because you need to know those ingredients before you look into the practical aspect. So lastly, I'll be sharing with you some terms used, okay, in Sage 50 accounting application, and you can also see those terms in other accounting software, even in an ARP. Okay, so now various terms are used normally in Sage 50 and in computerized accounting softwares, and they are all computer language. For example, we have a term called data. So I can navigate to my sheet and I can come under here. Okay, I can see we're looking at terms used. So I come here, I said data. Okay, so now we know what data is. That data mean any fact. It could be any observation, any assumption. Most times we make assumption when we are looking at financial modeling. We are trying to do our financial projection, our forecast. We always looked into, when we're trying to build financial model, we talked about assumptions. So assumptions are also data. So any facts, observation, assumptions, or occurrences. Accounting is all about events. So historical event and so on. So those occurrences are data. So in accounts, or in the Sage 50 environment, or in an accounting software, this would mean accounting entries. That's what we refer to data. So when you hear me in other videos talk about data, that we are trying to always ensure you go and do your posting of your data here, how to export your data into Sage, how to import your data, how to import your data, into Sage, how to export your data out of Sage or into QuickBook or out of QuickBook, into ZoBook, into FreshBooks, into Xero, into MyGRP, into Tally, into Manager, and so many of them. When you hear me talk about that, okay, in an accounting software, data means accounting entries to be posted to prepare financial statements and other related information. So if I come to my software and I come to customer center and I say I want to add, or I come to banking and I say I want to record transaction. Okay, let me go to banking, come to transactions, and say I go to banking and I say I want to record a particular transaction. What it means is that information I want to record, maybe there was a kind of transaction, purchase of an equipment, okay, took place, and I say I want to record it. Now it therefore means that when I'm recording that information I'm recording is data, because in an accounting software, data mean accounting entries that are to be posted to prepare financial statement and other related information. I'll give you examples of them. Examples now are things like sales, invoice, details such as price, sales tax, date of sale, etc. All these are data when it comes to an accounting software. Case closed. Now, another important terms within an accounting software environment using Sage 50, okay, as our major focus area, is what we call record. So record here just consists of let me say a group of data items related to an object of data processing. Okay, for example, we can talk about something like the sales register, which may be called record of sales invoice. So that is a record. It keeps those group of information. So for example, if you want to record your customers, okay, what do? You have to come and go to your customer center. You come to your add a customer, and you'll be able to record those customers. So at this point, what we are doing is that we are working with a group of data items. Okay, and if you remember what I said data are, I said that they include facts, observations, occurrences, and so on, provided it has to do with your sales invoice. Maybe we are coming to put down our invoice or our price list. At that point, the general term used to refer to all that is what? Record. So you must take note of that. It's a powerful term you must take note of. So thirdly, it's what we call data file. Okay, data file, or you can call it file, but I call it data file. Now, the data file here in Sage 50 or in other accounting software, okay, it is a compilation of related records maintained in some pre-arranged order, and it is similar to the manual files, whereby various papers are always stored. You keep them, you store various papers. So it's also similar. So an example of a data file here would be like the payroll file, okay, of a company. So when you're working on accounting software and you maintain such information, it's expected that you also keep those files, and when you're keeping it, we call them data file. And here in Sage, you can also attach them, because we refer to them as what we call company notes and attachments. So you can click on it and do what? Attach those payroll documents, those customers documents, those statutory documents of the company. You can attach, or if it's tax documents, you can come and say add attachment of our tax document or for our financial report. It will say add, and it will take you to your system so that you can go and bring those files and store them here in the system of Sage, instead of keeping them in your drawer, which tomorrow fire outbreak or any damage or may go missing. So instead of keeping your documents physically, which is not that safe anymore, you can upload it also into the application, and these are what we refer to as what? Our data file, a compilation of related records maintained in some prearranged order. So it's very important that you take note of that. Okay, and lastly, there is a term I've been mentioning since I started, so I can't say these are all the three terms without mentioning this last term, and which is what? System. I've been talking about system. Sage is a system, computer system, and blah blah blah. So the last is system. So system just means various components. When you hear the word system in computer, in an accounting software, just talking about various components that process the data. Okay, because from number 1 to number 3, it's all about data. You record data file. Okay, data file, if you remember what we said it's a compilation of related records maintained in some pre-arranged order. And I said that it is similar to manual files, where we looked into that means it's a kind of similar to the payroll document, other document that manually we keep, majorly those of you who are working. And of course, I showed you how to add attachment and notes. For those who were not able to follow up, visit our YouTube channel, Williams Miracle is the name of the YouTube channel. You will see that very topic, how to add attachment and notes into Sage 50. You will be grounded on how you can go about that. So system, the last, means various components that process this data that we're talking about. Could be transactions, a particular output, and it's in let's just look at a manual accounting system. In a manual accounting system, you agree with me that the components would be persons. We said that system means various components. So if it comes to a manual system whereby they are not using any accounting software, the system is going to relate to even the books of accounts, which could include the ledgers, the cash book, and so on. So those are going to be the components. Those are going to be the system when it comes to a manual accounting system setting. Okay, so which will give results in the form of trial balance. And when you're trying to compare it now to a computerized system, accounting system, it would remain the computer machine, the software program, okay, and other computer parts such as keyboard, monitor, etc. So these are very important for you to take note of. So now with this little brief explanation, because I don't even know when I started explaining all these things, it wasn't planned that I will explain this to you all. So with this little explanation, let's now let me navigate quickly, because some persons might be wondering, Williams always go straight to the software. Why is he working on documents today? Okay, so I'll move directly to the application. So this is the application, both the 2023 version. So this is where we are, and of course we are praying that every one of us will see it next year. Okay, we're trusting God for that. All right, so you right here, you're seeing the Sage 50 environment, and you must be able to work within this environment. So the major focus of this class, it's all about you being able to navigate through the system and also being able to enter data. And my aim is to ensure that I give you a general view on all the models or features that makes up this very environment. So this is the typical screen. This is the typical screen from the home dashboard. This is the typical screen you get to see when you log in into the application. But if there is any difference in this typical screen, it means that you have gone to your administration, gone to your my profile, and you have changed what to view in this first screen, which I told you under administration. You come to my profile. Okay, when you click on my profile, to bring you here, you come to preference. In preference, you will see right here under this part where we have default dashboard to display, you will see that it is on what dashboard. So I can decide that I want to customize it and change it to what financial dashboard. So if I change this to financial dashboard and then I save this, if I change this to financial dashboard and I say save, ladies and gentlemen, when I go back to the home, when I log into the application, because it has now been updated to financial dashboard, when I go to the home tab to log in and I come to the software, the environment, what I'm going to see displayed is the financial dashboard. So it's all about your choice. Which dashboard do you want to be shown, to be displayed primarily? Is it the financial dashboard or the general dashboard, which will give you key insight, or you just want key insight into the financial section to be able to see it? So you use the purpose of all these models is that you use these models to choose what we call program functions. Sage 50 contains different program functions: customer program, supplier program, item program, bank, and so many of them. So for you to be able to choose those program functions, that's where you need to do what? Use these models to be able to do that. So though program functions are in a logical positions within the menu system, you can see them, they're in a position which you can clearly see them. Okay, and for example, the home, let's start from the home module. Now the home module, when you click on the home module, you will see different dashboards and workspace. You can see we have different dashboard: customer dashboard, supplier dashboard, item dashboard, financial dashboard, VAT rate change guide, and my workspace. And I said my workspace means my function, what you do. It's expected of you to do what? Ensure that you have entered all those information so as to make sure that everything is working perfectly for you. So like I said, the home menu contains those listed options that I talked about, so always take note of that. Then the next model we have here is the quick view. So the quick view here in Sage 50 environment allows you to quickly view customer, to quickly view supplier, to quickly view item, to quickly view accounts, and to quickly view bank accounts information while you are processing documents or while you are processing transactions. So what gives you the capability to be able to view those models is what? The quick view. Okay, for example, if I want to view customers in this company and their transaction, all I have to do is to come to quick view. Instead of going to customer center, I can just come to quick view, come to customers. Just watch what will happen. When I click on customers, it's going to display the window for me. So right here I can view each customer's name. I can select, maybe I don't want ABC delivers, I want another customer like Akpani. I can select Akpani. Okay, that's still ABC. I can decide I want to change this customer to, let's say I want to change this customer to Lawal, and I can see Lawal balance is 20,000 at the moment. It's owing us this balance. You can check all his invoices if any have been given to him. You can see one was given which is not yet paid. Okay, you can see all his transactions, all his quotation, sales order, and so on. So assuming he had a good history with us, it have been displayed. But this is the overview, and you can always print your customer statement and your customer sales reports. So the quick view, makes it possible for you to view your client's information while you are processing documents or transactions. Then I then have to close this quick view. Now that I'm very sure that you're already familiar with the quick view, I have to close it. I have to close the quick view. So I'm going to click on close. So I'm going to be kind of fast now. So for the customer model, now what the customer model does is this. Through the customer model here, you can access any function that has to do with customers. I believe that's clear. Any function, anytime that has to do with customers, just know that you will find that information. Just know that information can be found on the customer model, or you can call it customer center. So it is in this customer module that you will find, or you will access any function or command that has to do with customers. You can see them, add list of customers, and so on. So it's very important. Same way for the supplier. Okay, if I go to the supplier module or center, you will see listed options. So it's in the supplier menu or module you can access any function that has to do with suppliers. Same way in the items, it is in this items module you can access any function that has to do with items or inventory or services. Because if I go to add an item, there's always two options. Sage will always ask you what you want to add. Is it a service? If it's a service, under where we have, after category where we have item type, you just go and tick service, because not every item inventory, not every company is physical inventory based. You can say service, like a makeup artist, some of those things they do is services, a having salon, a school, and so on. So you must understand all this. So in item center, you can access any function that has to do with items. Okay, in the banking center or banking module, okay, you will maintain your bank and credit card accounts. So if you don't want to maintain credit card, you can leave it, but you must maintain your bank account. And in the accounts menu, so then somebody just chatted that where I was pointing on is the banking I talked about. Then we have the accounts. So now for the account menu, you have options that let you enter all your expense accounts and keep track of them. Okay, so I don't know if anyone have any question at the moment, so we can proceed as I'm trying to refresh the class. So like I said that in this account section, okay, that you have options that lets you enter all your expense accounts and keep track of them. If you want to enter your expense accounts, like I told you, that's the chart of accounts. So there are options there you can use to carry out such tasks. Then we move to the that of the, which is also very important, that of the accountant area. Okay, so the accountant area module, this is where you will find functions, reports that are usually part of an accounting function. You can see them here. Okay, so it's very important. This is also taken into consideration because you can also invite your accountant by selecting the invite my accountant option, which is here, and majorly for auditors. Okay, because so that you can send them an accountant as a note, or an accountant will send them a note. So it's very important that you put that into consideration. Then also in the reports menu or module here, you can see the reports module. So in this very module, this is where you can select different kind of reports that you want to view, and you can email your reports as well. You can see a lot of reports that you want to view. So this module makes it possible for you. Then we have the company module. The company module, this is where you can add and manage your companies through the options that are here. Okay, then that's very important. Then the administration module, which is the last module here. So the administration module has options that form part of an administrative function. Okay, so that's what it does. It just, all these options it contains are options that form part of an administrative function and have an effect in all your companies. So the owner menu is your own owner menu. All options, you see them there being listed over there, from the administration to the manage users to the control user access, the change password, my profile logout, and so on. So all these are very important, and it is with this you can then be able to proceed to recording transactions, because transactions are processed through document screens and grids in Sage 1 or in Sage 50. Yeah, so you must be able to understand all this so you can be able to work with it. So ladies and gentlemen, this is where we're going to end up this class for today on Sage 50 environment. So these are basically some of the things you need to take note of that are very important for you to note. So take note of it. In our next class, we'll continue in a more interesting topic and their aspect. Thank you very much. Stay tuned with us. If it's our YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to register for our training program. Thank you and God bless. So I will be closing and shutting down my screen now. Okay, so let's do this.